Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back. So last week I made a video on the California gas tax, and it was pretty controversial because everybody's flipping out about that, rightfully so, right? There was a lot of media going on, and I guess we got it wrong. I went ahead and I looked at the bill myself. I read it after I was watching some clarifying videos. Don't mind my cat's tail, she's just jumping everywhere right now. So I watched some clarifying videos on that bill, and as much as I want to say, oh, screw this state, you know what I mean? I did some digging and I want to clarify everything for you guys from that video. That way you guys are more informed, and I don't know, this could actually be a good thing, especially, I mean, the bill kind of makes sense. All right, so I can't really explain it in my terms, so I'm going to go ahead and jump straight to those screens and show you guys what I'm reading in the bill from the bill itself and more clarifying information, all right? All right, guys, so let's get straight into it. So AB 1421, here we go. Existing law requires the chair of the California Transportation Commission to create a road usage charge technical advisory committee in consultation with the Secretary of Transportation to guide the development and evaluation of a pilot program assessing the potential for mileage-based revenue collection as an alternative to the gas tax system. Very important to understand that as an alternative to the gas tax system. So that implies that they plan on replacing it if they roll over towards this mileage tax. The existing law additionally requires a transportation agency in consultation with the commission to implement the pilot program as specified. Existing law repeals these provisions on January 1st, 2027. The bill would extend the operation of the above described provisions until January 1st, 2035. The bill will also make related findings and declarations. So there was a bill where they had a pilot program. I guess they rolled this out in Southern California. A lot of the residents out there weren't happy. And that was just a study of this new program, right? Replacing the gas tax with mileage tax. And this bill, from how I understand it, AB 1421 is extending that study until January 1st, 2035. All right, so let's go on and read the bill text. Excuse me. All right, Section 1. The legislature finds and declares all the following. State funding for transportation comes mainly from 6 different fuel taxes and vehicle fees dedicated to specific purposes. These sources generated about $14 billion in the 2023-24 fiscal year. The gasoline excise tax is by far the largest of these charges. The tax is 57.9 cents per gallon and generated about $7.8 billion in fiscal year 23 and 24. California relies on gasoline and diesel tax revenue to build and maintain its highways, public transit, and other transportation infrastructure, which is a problem in a state aggressively pushing a transition to electric vehicles, or EVs. Since the passage of SB 1, gas taxes have begun to lag, in large part due to California's adopting lower emission vehicles, the state's climate goals, including the switch to zero emission vehicles or ZEVs, and reductions in statewide per capita vehicle miles traveled for light duty vehicles are projected to reduce fuel tax revenues in the coming years. So I guess California does have a heavy presence of EV adoption. A lot of people did switch, especially out here in the Silicon Valley. A lot of people switched from their gas vehicles to EVs. Californians have purchased more than 1 million EVs in the last 4 years, according to the California Energy Commission. Those numbers will continue to increase as a result of the state's mandate for all new car sales to be ZEVs by 2035. So this was Newsom's plan, mandating manufacturers and the state to be pretty much 100% EVs, all right, or zero emission vehicles. I don't know if the federal government struck down on that, but as of right now, let's just pretend that this is still in play. All right, and let's proceed here. Section G. The Legislative Analyst Office projects revenues will decline by as much as $2 billion annually by 2030 and up to $4 billion annually by 2035. A study by the Mineta Transportation Institute estimated a reduction in revenues of between $4.8 billion and $12.1 billion by the year 2040. So that's a pretty good chunk of change right there. Going to give California politics the benefit of the doubt and assume that they are using this money for road repairs and such and maintain highways. All right, so let's just keep it at that. And just imagine, up to $12 billion per year. Is that what it says, per year? Okay, yeah, it's total, I guess, 12.1 billion total. So let's see. The California Transportation Commission projects that the state will collect 31.3 billion less in fuel excise tax revenue due to increased fuel efficiency and the proliferation of ZEVs over the next decade. So, yeah, that's a huge chunk of change. I mean, imagine what 31 billion could do for our highways out here. Collectively, various states and the federal government have undertaken research and exploration of possible revenue mechanisms to supplement or replace the fuel excise tax. And again, guys, we're going here. They keep bringing up, right, to replace fuel excise tax. So far, from my understanding, we are not going to get an additional tax on top of what we drivers in California already pay. All right, so it's good that they keep bringing that up. All right, so let's go here to Section J. In 2014, the legislature passed Senate Bill 1077, which created the Road Usage Charge Technical Advisory Committee, or RUCTAC. The RUCTAC was charged with the development and evaluation of an authorized pilot program to assess the potential for a mileage-based financing mechanism for California's roads and highways as an alternative to the fuel excise tax system. Again, guys, magic word right here, alternative to the fuel excise tax system. And this was their research, right? They wanted to go out there, and they have ongoing studies, I guess. And you can't just get results by doing it for 1 year. You do have to get data over possibly a whole decade or more here, it seems. All right, let's go to Section K here. Excuse me again, guys. In 2017, California completed the SB 1077 pilot program, which enrolled more than 5,000 vehicles that reported more than 37 million miles over a 9-month period. Importantly, the collection of the revenue was simulated in the pilot program through mock invoices and payments. So I don't know exactly how that study worked, but the word mock invoices and payments, I think they had a few people participate in it and just submit fake invoices and fake payments as if they were truly being charged, you know. So I don't know how those people felt about that, even though it wasn't real money possibly, but I'm curious as to the data they collected from that. All right, let's go here to Section L. The final pilot program report found further testing of the revenue collection process should be the next step to undertake in order for California to evaluate revenue flows and identify challenges, efficiencies, and synergies for possible road user charge implementation. Again, further testing, which explains this new bill here, AB 1421. Presently, the state is analyzing the financial impacts of a road user charge on supercommuters, as well as additional engagement with rural communities and tribal nations to better inform constituencies, it's a huge college word right there, constituencies on a road charge concept. The benefit of a road use charge is that it could be structured to provide gas tax relief to low-income drivers. Implementing a road use charge in a way that appeals to both low and moderate income households and urban and rural communities across the state's diverse geography will require significant education, negotiation, and compromise. There's a word we don't all like to see, compromise, right there. Who knows what that can mean? I guess we'll have to wait until 2035, January 1st, to see how they're going to roll this out. All right, as you see right here, this chapter shall remain in effect only until January 1st, 2035. All right, and I do have another source right here. CSAC backs AB 1421 to study long-term solutions for California's transportation funding gap. And this was recently published February 5th, 2026 by Mark Neuberger, however you pronounce that. And right here, CSAC is supporting AB 1421, which creates a research-driven process to inform future transportation funding decisions to replace declining gas tax revenues. A bill that seeks to is a study bill. It directs the California Transportation Commission to assess critical concerns about how infrastructure fixes and improvements are funded while reducing the burden on working families. The commission will report its findings to the legislature and the public by January 1st, 2027. The report will provide options for the state to responsibly maintain its transportation infrastructure as gas tax revenues decline. And right here in this section, I'm going to skip that other paragraph here because it's pretty much reiteration of what I read last. So right here, AB 1421 does not raise taxes or create new fees. Again, supposedly it's going to be replacing the gas tax. That's why they're doing the study. AB 1421 does not impose a road user charge or authorize implementation of one. This doesn't impose a tax of any kind. It just extends the study to January 1st, 2035. That's all AB 1421 is. AB 1421 does not negatively impact rural or long distance commuters. In fact, the research it authorizes is intended to examine how future solutions can reduce burdens on low income and long-term distance drivers. And again, right here, where is it? The research it authorizes. Very important, right? To understand that. There's another page that says it's just research. That bill authorizes research for the implementation of replacing gas tax with mileage tax. All right, and let's see. The goals of AB 1421 are supported by CSAC's transportation platform, which recognizes that additional funding is required and efforts to obtain these sources should be supported. So it's a study. People aren't going to do it for free. So funding is required to keep this study going. So there you have it, guys. I just wanted to make sure that I'm passing out this information as I'm getting it too. I don't see too many people out there or sources clearly explaining what the bill says. They're just talking about it without showing you the proof of it. I want to make sure that if you guys are going to be talking about this bill, whether it's for or against it, you at least have everything you need to make your own decision. All right, guys, thank you again for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It costs you guys nothing. It really helps me out tremendously. I'll see you guys on the next one.